Oh yes, it's hashtag time on a Wednesday evening, and tonight we speak to a leader in the field of sports rehabilitation. But that's not all. We also welcome back a man who is no stranger to the show. But before I introduce them, it's a warm welcome to my co-host Zito. She's been pulling smiley and funny faces off air as I was about to say hello. Hi, what's up?
Hi, because we're going to have a good time. That's what we're going to do.
Oh my goodness, I miss you so much. Great to be here, and oh my goodness, it's time for hashtag. So what's popping?
Oh my God, so much is happening, but don't forget to follow all the Quest Sports social media pages because we're out there and we are present. Now, Arthur, we've got a really exciting guests today. Who are they?
All right, we've got such an exciting guest tonight. If you are a sportsman, then this is a man that you need in your life. He is the current physiotherapist for the South African cricket team and the man who keeps the players at the top of their game. It's great to have on the hashtag couch tonight.
Yes.
Welcome, Craig Govender.
Yay, welcome.
All right. Last but not least, Spoo Shongwe. All right, you're becoming a regular on the show. All right, NBA season has just started, and Spoo can fill us in on all the happenings in the world of NBA. All right, Craig, let's start with you. First of all, you're a cricket fan. Where did your interest for the game begin?
Primary school youngster.
All right.
Loved the game.
Yeah.
Played cricket all my life, actually. So it started then. Yeah, Dad introduced me to the game. I needed to be part of the game somehow.
Yeah.
And only reason I thought of physiotherapy was try and be part of cricket.
Wow. Why cricket and not, other sports like rugby, football, basketball, athletics, perhaps?
Swimming, maybe?
Yeah.
Rugby, you've seen any Indians play rugby?
Oh my goodness, did you really
You can break the mold, break the mold.
Yeah, look at me.
You probably could have gotten away with it.
I think so. Why not? Why not?
No
Why
one
does
would
that have to
forget
be-
you.
And why does that have
Have
to be
you
the
seen
stigma?
my primary school pictures?
Show us. I know you've got one in your book.
Wow. All right, so
No.
cricket obviously above the rest.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your passion for physiotherapy and, of course, adding that to the game of cricket.
Yeah, like I said before, I really enjoyed cricket. So I wanted to be part of a profession that I could always be part of cricket. And like I said, physiotherapy was probably the one because when I was a youngster, I went to physio to be treated and to continue playing. So obviously I thought, geez, this person's helping me. I could become this person and be part of cricket somehow. I loved sport. I played every sport possible at school. So,
Apart from rugby?
Apart from rugby. Touch rugby.
All right, you're speaking so much about giving back, and I mean, the Wanderers Sports Medical Center, which is your project. Tell us about it and tell us a little bit more about how you're giving back.
Well, basically, last year was 8 years with the Haifa Lions at the Wanderers.
Yes.
Started there in 2010. And while I was there, I always felt that the elite were getting an elite treatment. The elite meaning the Haifa Lions and the professional people. And I always felt that the non-elite, the amateurs, the cricketer, the juniors, the under-15s, under-16s weren't getting that. And there were a few times when coaches came to me with a child, I'll call him a child, but he was 15 years old, with an injury that happened a year ago. Now, it didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well with me because this kid could have been assessed.
Yes.
Could have had an X-ray, could have had an MRI. He may not have had the money, but we could have found a way because he could have been potentially great. So my main focus was to try and start something that could bridge the gap between the elite and the amateur.
Wow.
So, and also the fact that I was in cricket, and I can't be in cricket all my life because we travel quite extensively. I needed to start something which I could fall back on after cricket, and that's how this Wonder Sports Medical Center began. And at the moment, I actually just came from a meeting now, a practitioner
Always
meeting.
busy.
Yeah, so we had a practitioner meeting to discuss how we're doing. And it's 3 years in March, and there's 12 different practitioners in the center, going around from psychologists. I really feel psychology is vitally important in sport.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Vitally important in all spectrums of sport, because anxiety, depression, not having food on your table, how do you deal with that? You go to school, you got to balance things, you got to balance school, you got to balance sport, you got to balance so many things.
Yeah.
We've got podiatry, we've got chiropractics, homeopathy, dentistry, sports physicians, biokinetics, physios.
I mean, on a daily basis, these are the type of athletes that you deal with. How do you keep them at full strength?
Elite?
Yes, and non-elite. Well, both.
Because we're not choosing, right? We're making sure everybody's getting equal treatment.
Yes.
Okay, so from the elite point of view, you don't have to push an elite athlete. He's motivated. He's extremely motivated. But what we really do at that level is try to be, and I use the term 1%. We always want to be 1% better. How do we become 1% better? Because everyone else is doing similar things. It's about thinking out the box, being lateral thinkers in that sense, and trying new things. Everything is not about the textbook. We've learned the textbook. We try to learn the textbook. we always revert back to the textbook, but the textbook does not necessarily say you're going to be out for 4 weeks.
Wow. Motivational, psychological effects, right, Spoon?
Absolutely.
How much that plays
And
on
I
recovery?
I actually have a quick question for Craig. Craig, I'm a big basketball guy, and one of my favorite players, DeMarcus Cousins, went out with an ACL injury, ended his season. I want to see him out there. I want to see him out there before January. What is the likelihood? How long does an injury like that take, and how much of a toll does it take on a player, generally?
ACLs is probably one of the toughest injuries to go through.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the timeout. A lot of the time, it could range from 6 to 9 months. So it's basically an entire season.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the mental strain taken to this athlete.
Absolutely.
He's got this aura and image he needs to portray. He's a great basketball player. It could be Wade Van Niekerk had an ACL. Now he's not. Imagine what he's going through. And everyone goes through, because the mind is massive in terms of recovery. That's why that's the crux of it. I mean, you're going to get back quicker if your mind is solid.
Absolutely.
And the way I think is that looking at any injury, I start rehabilitation immediately. Why? Because it changes your mind. I'm doing something.
So basically, DeMarcus Cousins needs to make sure his head is right, his mind is right.
Yes, definitely, but it's difficult. Because when you, like I said, the biggest thing about sports medicine is getting a diagnosis.
Yeah.
The diagnosis tells you how long you're going to be out of play. And that's half the battle. And the problem is, if you're not getting the correct diagnosis, and you're not given the correct prognosis, which means that how long you're out, you're going to think, when am I going to start walking? When am I going to start running? So there's an anxiety, because there's not that conversation had. But if you give that player that conversation, and he's always communicating to his surgeon, to his physio, to his coach, knowing that the coach is not putting pressure on him, is also important.
Wow.
Do you understand what I mean?
Ooh, because that's a mouthful.
Yeah,
that's a mouthful.
It is. I mean,
it's not one person involved. It's not just the player. It's a whole lot of people. It's at home. Is he getting pressure at home? Because then psychology changes. It's not about sports psychology sometimes. It's about clinical psychology.
Absolutely.
I feel we use the term sports psychology too loosely sometimes, when it could be a problem at home.
Just environmental psychology.
Yeah, it could be a problem at home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Clinical. It could be depression because of not playing. So it's not necessarily getting back, but it's part of sports psychology.
Wow.
But with that being said, how much, like what percentage of it is more the physical, where it becomes the physiotherapy as opposed to the mental, the psychological?
Well, you have to be strong to get back.
Yeah.
So it's, in terms of percentages, it's hard to say because you would start off and then wean off.
Yeah.
You'd probably wean off physiotherapy as you get closer to
Full rehabilitation.
yes.
Yeah.
So because it's not only the physio in play, because it's about a team effect.
Okay.
So that's what I'll be trying to do at the Wonder Sports Medical Center. So it's not about just the physio. The physio may work with the psychologist in the first phase. Then when the physio hands over to the biokinetists, which then do the end phase rehabilitation, the coach comes into play.
Such a process.
And there's dietetics. Anyone thought about dietitian, nutrition? Nutrition
Yes.
is important for healing muscles.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's
eating correctly, not McDonald's and
and all the fast foods in the world. Craig, I'm so happy that you're actually on the hashtag Culture Day, especially because so many cricket fans, just like myself, are excited that big names like Dale Steyn and Kagiso Rabada are back in the Proteas squad ahead of the Tour Down Under next month. And just your work with helping such stars to get back to rehabilitation, how has that been for you?
yeah, it's been great to be part of the environment. I always say, and I'll always say, it's a great pleasure. It's an honor to be part of that, and it's the people before me that created that. And it's an honor to be part of that, and the whole aura of the team is about team culture, about people, about humanity, and being good to people. So in that way, it allows us to grow. You don't feel like an outcast. You feel that you belong.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing, because you're coming into a new team, but you're allowed to be you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not there to impress, because you're there for a reason.
Yeah, and it's such a personal relationship with the players, right? I feel like with what you do, it's so personal that you end up creating that type of rapport with the players, actually.
And it's important, like we're talking about psychology, you've got to understand the individual to get the individual better. And for me, that's what I work harder on. I work harder on understanding people better. I think that's half the battle of getting someone on the field quicker, because they got to buy into your philosophies, they got to buy into your training regime. It's not easy coming in or going anywhere. If you have to come to me for treatment, you may have been for treatment to 5 other physios, but how am I going to sell my philosophy of rehab to you?
Wow, I'm going to tell you my Quickfire. All right, wow. Interesting
Dangerous
conversation,
man, eh?
right?
Wow.
Loving it.
Wow.
Loving it. All right, so time for some quick-fire questions, courtesy of my producer. I have not seen any of these questions. Craig, I hope you're ready. We're about to dish out all your laundry on continental TV, global TV. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, question 1. If not a physiotherapist, what would you be?
I'll probably follow my dad's footsteps in being an accountant.
All right, great.
Not a rugby player.
Yeah, favorite country you have visited with the Proteas?
I've only been overseas to Sri Lanka. It's an unbelievable experience.
Wonderful. Who requires the most strapping in the Proteas change room? Please
No
don't say
comment.
Dale Steyn.
No comment.
All right, biggest joker on tour?
On tour, I really enjoyed Morning Moko when he was around.
Ah, nice. All right. Long haul flights. Do you wear compression socks?
No, I get up often enough.
Craig, it's okay if you wear compression socks. It's a safe space.
You thought about that.
It's a
Yeah,
safe,
he did. He did.
It's
All
a
right.
safe space.
3 words to describe Proteas skipper Faf du Plessis.
Good guy.
Good guy. 3. One more word.
You said 3.
I said 3. You said 2. Okay, never mind. All right. So, all right.
good guy.
What do you never leave home without?
I never leave home without.
Compression socks.
Probably my toothbrush.
Really? You don't leave home without your toothbrush?
When I go on tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
Suspicious.
I don't know. We'll have lots of fun with Craig and the rest of the team right here on hashtag. Coming up, Spoo takes us through all the NBA headlines as the season kicks off. Miss Mumbai from Nigeria. But first, let's hear from Felicia Endersby and get her take on what is happening on social media.
Thanks, guys. As usual, some crazy stories lined up. So let's get right into it. The 30-year-old Russian Khabib extended his perfect record in MMA to 27-0 by forcing Conor McGregor to tap out after 4 rounds last week. He then urged unbeaten Mayweather to prove who is the one king in the jungle.
Hey, let's go, boys. We have to fight now. 50-0 versus 27-0. Two guys never like lose. Let's go. Why not? Because in the jungle, only one king. Only one king.
Since Khabib dropped McGregor, he's confident he'll defeat Mayweather too. Deontay Wilder issued an apology to the mascot that he KO'd on live TV and offered the person tickets to his fight with Tyson Fury in December. While promoting his upcoming fight, the Bronze Bomber was invited to show off his skills. Wilder threw an aggressive right hook that left the mascot flat on their back in the middle of the studio.
Finish him. Finish him. Finish him. Oh.
Thierry Henry took his first training session as a professional manager as he looks to improve the fortune of AS Monaco. Henry replaced Leonardo Jardim, who left the club by mutual consent.
Look at me. Sure. Look at me. Sure. I'm the captain now.
Since winning Ligue 1 in the 2016-17 season, the selling club approach has taken AS Monaco from Champions League semi-finalists to the depths of 18th in Ligue 1.
Challenge accepted.
So, there we are. That's all we have time for. Please don't forget to tweet me with your thoughts, pics, and comments. And until next time, bye-bye.
All right, thank you for joining us on hashtag. It's awesome to have you tonight. As you know, get in touch with us on all our social media platforms. The hashtag, of course, is Kwese Sports. All right, so LeBron James says he's moved to Los Angeles Lakers for basketball reasons. Well, it was for basketball reasons and nothing to do with his Hollywood career. The 4-time NBA Most Valuable Player joined the Lakers in July on a 4-year deal worth $154 million. James, 33, is involved in various television and film projects, and at a media day on Monday, he was asked if that had influenced his decision. After carrying the Cavs to 4 consecutive NBA Finals appearances, including a memorable first championship win in 2016, James joined the Los Angeles Lakers to create a gaping hole in the team he left behind. Yet, James's former teammates are adamant that they can step up to fill the void. Kevin Love thinks Cleveland are going to surprise a lot of people. Spoo, do the Cavs have the necessary players to compete this season?
Listen, to answer your question, it's a no from me.
All right.
Idols judge extraordinaire. It's a no. I mean, look, you need to have, in this league, in this NBA of today, you need to have at least multiple All-Stars to go to the postseason and to be successful in the postseason. So I love Kevin Love. I think he's an extraordinary player, but there's no way that they're going to... They lost LeBron James, the best player of his era, undeniably the best player in the world right now. How do you come back from that? Is the biggest question.
That's the question I want you to answer, Spoo, especially for the fact that Cleveland Cavaliers fans like myself have had their hearts completely completely broken. So now you've got this situation where teams are building, or franchises are building around these super players, but the moment they just up and go, then...
Nothing happens, it's gone. Yeah, absolutely, and that's the situation for the Cavs. Look, Dan Gilbert, who's the owner of that team, is going to have to figure it out. He does have Kevin Love still. They just drafted a young guy by the name of Colin Sexton. They have J.R. Smith. They have a couple of other pieces, but it's mostly role players that are there. So they're going to have to figure it out. But for now, I think they're in full rebuild mode.
But you do have people like Colin Sexton who's coming in, and don't you think he's going to be someone that's going to stand out?
Look, they're going to compete, guys. They're going to play. My thing is, I don't think they're going to go 30, 40, possibly 50 wins, you know, unless they hire Craig to be their physiotherapist. You know, I don't know.
So
but
you're
it's just not going to happen.
Get to the playoffs then?
It's not.
That's what you're saying, 40, 50.
It's not happening. Not this season. You can quote me on that. But I think, look, they have an interesting team. Let's see how they do. Underdog. Look at the Celtics. They lost Kyrie Irving last year, Gordon Hayward, and still make the playoffs and went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Can the Cavs do the same? I don't think so. It's your team. I know you're touched. I know you're touched by my opinion, but it's okay. It's okay.
Well, we all know why you say that. I mean, you're a massive Mamba fan and a Lakers fan. I mean, LeBron is now finally a Lakers player. How does that change everything up for the Lakers this season?
Everything's about LeBron. He's the best, like I said, he's the best player in the universe right now. Kevin Durant can...
Wow.
No, he is.
He
is. And look, I wasn't for the LeBron James move to the Los Angeles Lakers, but he's fit in nicely there. They have a young core that is really, really looking good. And what better way to bring in a guy who can facilitate your offense and get the best out of your guys? Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Rajon Rondo, all these guys are going to benefit from having a star like LeBron James on their team. So it's really good for the Lakers.
Craig, Steph or LeBron?
LeBron.
Why LeBron? The king. Hail the king.
He's done it for a long time.
Yeah.
Consistency. Craig knows what I'm talking about. Not Cleveland, not Cavs fans. You know, these people don't know what we're talking about, Craig. It's okay.
But the Lakers must have had enough money.
A lot of money.
Well, Shaq and Mr. Bryant left, so they got enough in reserve.
No, we do, but look at my T-shirt. What color is it, Arthur? Is it yellow or purple?
Oh, wow. Yellow.
Thank you so much. Lakers.
All right, so the Lakers, their chances of winning the title this year, or even getting close to the playoffs, does that become a reality that's a possibility because James is simply on the side?
Absolutely. I mean, he took the Cavaliers to the finals 4 straight years. And this is a guy who's proved that he can take players that are not so good, you know, for lack of a better term, all
Not
the way
as
to those
good as him, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Lonzo, he's got... I mean, the Lakers have a really, really good team, good young team. And they might not win the title. I don't think they're going to go all the way there. But I do think they're going to make some noise in the playoffs. Maybe second round, possibly flirting with the conference finals. But it's a tough Western Conference, so hey, I don't know.
All right, all right. Craig, your thoughts on the recovery process that certain athletes go through, especially with the age gap? Does that make a difference? Do younger athletes, you know, kind of recover faster than your older ones?
Depends what's old. What's old?
Late 30s?
I mean, for the Lakers, to give you some context also, the Lakers, the Lonzo Ball, who was out with the knee injury, is coming back relatively quickly than a Rajon Rondo who's older or a DeMarcus Cousins who's older. So I think there is something to be said about that.
It is. In medical terms, you can recover, take a longer recovery period when you're older. Yeah. Definitely. Sure. But depends what old is. But everyone's different. You can't just say at the age of 35, 36, 34, you're old. It's the individual. Now remember, it's an individual that's healthy as well, and is doing healthy things. So someone that smokes is not going to recover as quick as someone that doesn't.
Absolutely.
Or someone that drinks alcohol and doesn't. So everything's individualized.
So when you talk about old, you mean like Arthur, right? That's basically the range in which...
So there's a lot of variables in recovery.
Craig, you spoke, you know, earlier on in the show about the psychology that also plays in recovery. And in particular, just the type of lifestyle that the superstars kind of live. You mentioned that alcohol and smoking, you know, could be a problem for these massive sports stars. But we hear stories of, you know, the Wayne Rooney's being caught drunk driving because they were clubbing late at night. How do they balance that life? How do they say no to the kind of flashy life and focus on their career, because that's where their money is?
Jeez, that's a tough question. Like I said before, everything's individualized, and everyone's different. That's why you have superstars, and some guys are X factors because of that reason.
Yeah.
You know, you can't
And isn't
dictate.
that also based like on off season? Because don't they have rules when you're like playing, like during the season, that you can do certain things and you can't do certain
Well,
things?
again, it's dictated by how the team runs. Is what's
For the Proteas, for example? How does it work in that
And feel
regard?
free to spill the beans on any drunken Proteas
No, we still want you to have a
stories.
job after this, guys.
No, we good. There's no issues like that. But again, it's dictated by the team philosophy. Do you want a curfew? We're all adults. How can you put a curfew for adults? You're responsible for your profession. You're responsible to your team.
True.
So you have this. It's a code. It's an unwritten code that you're protecting your team. How do you protect your team?
Sure.
Wow. All right, well, just like that, our time is up. I cannot believe it. All right, Craig, been an absolute pleasure having you on the show tonight. Very quickly, where can people get in touch with you on social media?
My Instagram, it's 911 Gavi. Emergency.
All right.
And yeah, I'm on Twitter as well and stuff like that. So.
All right, fantastic. From the Kwese Sports team, it will be routine for you, Craig, down under. Remember to join us next week, Wednesday, 8:30 Central Africa time. Oh my gosh, Booze, Isho, goodbye. I can't believe I'm not going to see you guys until next time.
Only 7 days. Well, maybe.
Oh, well.
Until
All right.
next week.
Until next week. Hopefully the Cavaliers would have changed and got like, you know, some... Okay, never mind. We won't do that right now. But from myself and the rest of the team, as you know, à toute l'Afrique, can you see? Boop, à la prochaine. Goodbye for now.
Hey.